Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. We are in day 2, Vocal Powerhouse Accelerator, the Bulletproof edition. I was like waiting to do that. All right, guys. So if you're joining us for the first time, I'm Arden Kaywin. A little bit about me. I'm a singer, performer, transformational vocal coach, here to help you figure out how to get from good to great. And so what I am the best in the world at is helping singers link mind and body and learn a technique for their mindset and their skill set and their technique and their artistry that allows you guys to have complete 180 transformations in your singing, in what you're able to create with your voice, the results that you get from your auditions, your performances, your recordings, so that you can actually get those next level opportunities, be it performing on bigger stages, be it more people hearing your albums, be it making money and actually doing this professionally in a way that you support yourself, in a way that is meaningful for you, for your family. So that's me. And I want to hear more about you guys. So great to see all of you who were here yesterday, and some others who weren't. So I see you guys are all in the chat. Diane's here, Coral's here. Hello, Tanita. Hello, Jennifer. Chris, welcome. Hey, Kylie. Oh, it's so awesome to see your posts in the group yesterday. Nunzio and Tana, also from you. You guys were like so active in sharing with me how the meditation was going. We're going to talk about that. Hello to Casey and Don and who else? Oh my God, so many of you. Tony, our rock star, Amy DeLuca is here. Who of you have gotten to know Amy? Isn't she amazing? She's one of our singers. You're going to actually hear from her in a couple days, talking about some of the biggest ahas for her that might be meaningful to you. And I see that Leanne is here, AKA, what is the name you use? I think it's Susan in Facebook. I think that's awesome.
Susan Antoine, yes.
Susan Antoine. It feels very, very important.
Very literary, right?
Exactly. I see Crystal's here. Hello, Nabila's here. Thomas and Danielle and Anne-Marie is back. Hello. All right, I could go on and on and on, but I want to get to work because we have so much to get to today. So first of all, who did their meditation last night? Tell me in the chat. Give me a yes or give me a I did. Tell me in the chat who did their meditation either last night or this morning. Who got to the homework? Celebrate yourself. Put it in the chat. I'm celebrating you. Who also did their thought exercise? Yes. Who got to the thought exercise? You're still working on it? Okay. Way to go. Stay committed. Okay. Oh my God. So many of you are so committed. Really celebrating you guys for your commitment and your accountability to this process. You know, those who really get results in this process, they're showing up in the following way. They're committed. So they're showing up to every class. They're watching the replay every night. They're doing the homework after each session, whether it's a meditation, whether it's, I'm going to give you some MP3s today for some of the breath work that we're going to do. So they're super, super committed and accountable to the change that they want to see. Second, they're showing up coachable, which means understanding that you don't know what you don't know, right? Being willing and open to just empty your cup and be coachable and try something new and do something differently. You know, because if you keep doing things the same way, you're just gonna keep getting the same results, right? So they're super coachable and they're resourceful. So I know, guys, this is a 5-day commitment. It may not be easy to get here every day. You have work obligations, you have family obligations, health stuff might come up. Life is in session. It's always going to be in session. And so those who get the most out of this workshop, they get creative and resourceful, right? It's just 1 hour of your day for 1 week of your life to get tools that can change everything for something that you really care about. So being resourceful to show up even when life is happening and condition that muscle of showing up for your passion, for your dreams every single day. So I celebrate every single one of you for embodying those things and being here for day 2. A reminder that we have an awesome scholarship contest going on. So if you attend every live training this week, and yes, we track that, we have ways of doing that, you will get to throw your hat in the ring to win a huge scholarship that I'm announcing on Friday for our flagship intensive training program. But to be eligible for that, you have to attend every day of this workshop live. And then on Friday, I will announce the winner live. So that's something to keep in mind if that's something that's interesting to you. Okay, so today we're doing a deep dive into breath support, and just a little housekeeping first. We have a lot to get to. A reminder that the replay links are sent each day via email, and they're also posted in the Facebook group after each session. The replays are only available during the week of this session, so don't miss them. If you miss a day or if you come late or something, the replays are only available through the end of this week. So just stay on that. Homework links are just posted here in the chat at the end of each session and also in the Facebook group. Homework links are not emailed to you. So if you miss getting the homework link here, you will see a post in our Facebook group with the link. And okay, so save your questions. So we're going to train first, and then we're going to answer questions, because I guarantee you, if you just sit tight, I will probably answer that question before we get to the end of the training. I really recommend having a journal, something to take notes with. So if you don't have something, grab something now, especially to jot down the big points that you want to remember, and also to jot down questions for later. I will, from time to time, be asking for guinea pigs who want to get up and sing and coach on what we're working on, techniques we're going to do today. So use your raise hand function when that time comes. It's under the reactions part down at the bottom of the Zoom screen. A reminder, this is the safe space. So those who share and those who sing, we want to encourage bravery and vulnerability. So what that means is that we have a zero tolerance policy for any meanness, any criticism, any judgment in the chat, okay? This is the place where we get to fall down and fail big and learn and get up and grow from it. And that requires everybody really honoring this being the safe space. Okay, one last thing, I'm going to screen share really quickly to make sure that you have your original sound switched to on. We sent a little training for you to do this. If you enabled it, fantastic, but in the meeting, you still have to turn it on. So let me show you what that looks like. If you are on a desktop computer, this is our lovely Ashley, and this is what it looks like. You see where it says right here, original sound for musicians. If you're on a desktop or a laptop computer, at the top of the Zoom screen, it will say original sound for musicians off. You need to click the off and then it will say on. If you don't see that, it means that you do not have your original sound enabled. And what that means is I'm going to put instructions into the chat for you to see how to get there. Hang on. Here we go. Copy, paste. You may need to go out of the Zoom meeting, set the setting, and then come back in, but it's very quick. And that's only if you think you want to be a guinea pig and maybe live coach today. If you don't care about live coaching, don't worry about it. If you are on an iPhone, this is where you can find that setting. You want to go to the three dots at the bottom where the Zoom is, the three dots. And when you click the three dots, you'll see this come up and you'll see enable original sound. You want to tap that and then it'll say on. And again, this doesn't matter if you don't really care about getting up and live coaching today, but if you do, you need to have this enabled. Okay, smoky. How's all that for housekeeping? We got through that quick. With that, let's get to work on breath support, because in order to be a bulletproof singer, you need bulletproof breath support. It's kind of that simple, okay? So I'm going to give you all the concepts up front here. I want to train you on the whole big picture, and then we'll get some of you up here to train on how it is when you embody it when you sing. So first of all, this might seem like kind of a dumb question, but why is breath support important? It's important because 90% of the issues that you experience when you sing are actually breath support issues. Tension, stamina, high note, issues with your high notes in your range, agility, issues with mixing and transitioning registers, pitch issues, if you're flat, if you're sharp. Yes, so much of the time when we fix the breath support, the pitch issues go away. Strain, inconsistency, confidence issues. Because without the confidence, the career issues, you're not putting yourself out there if you don't have that. So if you're not getting where you want to go in the career, guess what? A lot of the time, breath support issue. So let's get down to the foundations, because if we're going to fix all these things, then we got to address this pronto. So first thing that I want to talk about is the anatomy of support, okay? Because in truth, it's all just anatomy, all right? So first things first, where's your diaphragm? Anybody know? Type in the chat. Where's your diaphragm? Who knows where it is? Tell me in the chat. Yeah, I see some of you pointing below the rib cage. Anthony for the win. There you go. Yeah, below the lungs. Yeah, okay. So just so we're absolutely clear, okay? This is the bottom of my rib cage, and I'm wearing my breath support shirt today. This is like the shirt that I wear when I teach support, because you can literally see like everything, okay? So bottom of the rib cage, diaphragm sits right here, and it is a three-dimensional muscle, and it looks like a dome, like an upside down bowl, okay? And it tucks in and it sits right up in the base of the rib cage, okay? Above it are your lungs. Below it is your viscous, your intestines, your liver, your all the other stuff, okay? And the way that the diaphragm works is when you inhale, this dome-shaped diaphragm inverts to become kind of like a bowl. And in doing so, it makes room for the lungs that are expanding and filling with air. As you exhale, the bowl goes back to being a dome, which is what moves the air out of your lungs to vibrate your vocal cords. So that's like the very basic anatomy of the diaphragm, okay? Now, breath support is actually not about the diaphragm. It is actually about the muscles around the diaphragm that support the diaphragm to stay low and move slow. So here's what I want you guys to get about this, okay? Which is the diaphragm's a little tricky because we don't have very many nerve endings in the diaphragm. So it's really hard to feel your diaphragm. We do have them, but not very many. So how many of you have had a voice teacher say, use your diaphragm? Like every single one of you, use your diaphragm, right? And like singers don't know what the heck to do with that. So you guys are all getting up in there, you try to push it and manipulate it and feel it and whatever, because like you can't really feel it because we don't have much sensation there. And so the idea of like use your diaphragm, just like, oh my God, and it gets singers into so much trouble. And so what I want you to understand is that this dome-shaped diaphragm, okay, it tucks in to all of the muscles in your abdominals and in your lower back, okay? And so what we do with all of these muscles directly affects what happens to the diaphragm. So really what we're talking about with breath support is don't worry about your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is the effect. What we want to activate are all of these muscles that affect the diaphragm to do what we want it to do, okay? So let's take a second, and I want to isolate these muscles of support so that you guys really understand how things work, okay? So what you're going to do, first of all, we're going to talk about rectus abdominis, your six-pack muscles. So like put your hand right here, like right where your ribs part vertically. And I want you to imagine that you have like a baby or a dog or something is being loud, and you're going to shush the dog or shush the baby. And I want you to feel these muscles when you do that. Shh, 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 shh. So you can feel these activate, okay? Now, find your obliques. And again, I don't want you guys to make these muscles do anything. I just want you to feel their existence, okay? So put your hands on your obliques and shush the dog. Shh, 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 shh. Okay? Those are your obliques. Now, transverse abdominis. So right above, all right, move this. Right above pubic bone, really low, right down here, shush the dog. Shh, 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 shh. And you feel these muscles. Now, also, I want you to feel lower kind of mid back. So right kind of from where your hip bone is on the bottom to where the top of your rib, the bottom rib is here, like that soft spot right in there. Put your hand right back there and shush the dog. And you'll feel it a little differently back there, but you will feel those muscles go like boop, boop, when you go shh, 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 okay? So all of these muscles that you just felt, when you activate these muscles to shush the dog, when they activate, what's happening is because they are connected and the diaphragm tucks into all of this. When you activate these muscles, you're taking this dome-shaped diaphragm that has inverted because you've inhaled. And every time you activate these muscles to shush the dog, you're taking this diaphragm and you're pushing it up a little bit. Shh, shh, shh. And it moves the diaphragm to push up the bottom of the lungs a little bit, to push a little bit of air out of the lungs. Okay, now, the point of breath support, as I said a minute ago, so this is like concept number one. Breath support is about the muscles around the diaphragm to support the diaphragm to stay low and move slow. Because the faster that diaphragm moves up, the faster it pushes air out of your lungs and the more air it pushes out of your lungs. And so you're out of breath before you want to be. The sound is airy and you're creating a ton of tension because now you have this flood of air that's coming out. Mind doesn't want that. And so it directs other parts of your body to compensate. And so now neck, jaw starts to tense up, to constrict, to create a dam to prevent this massive flood of air that you're sending because diaphragm is going up too fast and too much and you're pushing way too much air out. So now up here starts to tense and constrict to mitigate all that air when all that tension actually interferes and sabotages your vocal cords from being able to vibrate as freely and smoothly as possible. So what we're doing with all of these muscles of support here in managing the diaphragm to stay low and move slow is what we are creating is the exact right velocity of air, meaning amount, and the exact right volume of air, exact right amount of air passing through the cords, and at the exact right velocity, at the exact right speed. So with the perfect velocity and volume of air passing through the cords, we get the cords to vibrate at the optimum rate for the most efficient, beautiful sound. And so that optimum velocity and volume of air is what we call creates the optimum subglottal pressure, right below the cords that vibrates the cords the most efficiently. So when you felt these muscles give a little engagement, okay? You feel all of this, just giving the diaphragm a little something to move air, okay? Now, I want to pause for a sec, and I want to talk a little bit more about the inhale. So you're acquainted with the muscle groups now that are supporting the diaphragm, right? The lower and the slower it moves, the more efficient the air, the more steady the stream, the better the vibration is. But where does the inhale fit into this? So this is concept number 3. So just to review for a second. First concept, breath support is about the muscles around the diaphragm. Second concept, oh, I didn't even give you the second concept. You guys, I'm like all jazzed. I'm like getting ahead of myself here. So I'm glad I went back because I'm like, something doesn't sound right. Okay, second concept. And this is like the most important concept ever, which is the direction that we engage these muscles matters greatly. So there's 2 ways that we can engage muscles. We can contract a muscle and we can flex a muscle. Both is an engagement of the muscle, but the energetic direction is different. Contract is an inward tightening. Flex is an outward expansion. I can flex the muscles of my hand, or I can flex the muscles of my hand, or I can contract them. Same thing with these muscles. So watch my obliques. I can contract them. That's a contraction. Or I can flex them. You see, they went contract, flex. Okay? Contraction is the opposite of what we want for breath support. Because what happens to the diaphragm if I contract these muscles? What does it do? It pushes the diaphragm up way too fast, way too high, which pushes way too much air. Okay? So the flex goes in the opposite direction, and it keeps the diaphragm low and slow, whereas the contract pushes up and keeps the diaphragm high and fast moving up. So put your hands back on your obliques. I like the obliques because if your obliques are firing and flexing, everything else is firing and flexing too. So before I was telling you, don't make these muscles do anything, just get in touch with the muscles. Now I want you to use a hiss or a shush. You can go or you can go shh, either way. But I want you to actively flex these muscles into your hand and see if you get the direction right. Or if your muscles want to go like this, shh, that's a contract, versus shh, that's a flex. Shh, contract, shh, that's a flex. Okay. So, and you can feel it here too, actually. You can see it on me. If I do contract, shh, or if I do flex, shh, you see it go, whoosh, okay? We want to flex. We do not ever want to contract. Any voice teacher who has taught you to pull up and in doesn't understand anatomy. It's that simple. And it gets me all roped up on my soapbox because literally it's just anatomy. And at the very least, any voice teacher who's going to call themselves a voice teacher needs to understand the anatomy. Okay. So how many of you, curious, have been taught to contract, to pull up and in? Out yourself. Go for it. Because we're just going to get it all on the table. Who was taught to push up and in? Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So common, unfortunately. So it's going to take being very intentional to direct yourself to hiss down and out. If you give yourself the direction down and out, you will go this way. But you have to be very intentional about it to rewire the habit. So don't go on autopilot. This is a mindset thing, okay? Don't go on autopilot. Be very intentional about giving yourself that direction down and out, okay? So that is the activation. That's the engagement of the flex, the engagement of the support. But going back to when I got ahead of myself, we want to talk about the inhale, because in order for us to properly engage and flex when we are hissing, phonating, singing, any of that, we first need to understand what happens on the inhale. So concept number 3, let's talk about the anatomy of the inhale for a second. Concept number 3 is your lungs are in your back. So how many of you have had voice teachers that say, breathe into your belly? Let me see, show of hands. Who got who? Breathe into your belly. Yeah, but guess what? Ain't no lungs in your belly. Ain't no lungs in your belly. Now, the reason why your belly I understand why they're telling you that, because most of you and most singers who aren't well sort of versed in this yet, who haven't really embodied it yet, most singers, when they inhale, they put their breath all up in the shoulders and they don't realize it, but they're breathing all up here. Okay. And so in an effort to get you out of that, they tell you to put they tell you to breathe into your belly. But the problem with that is the singers miss the point, because that's not where the expansion is. And if you tell a singer to breathe into their belly, then they do, and they end up pushing their belly out, and it is like, but then you're like pushing, and it's not, still, you're not getting the air that you need, and you're still just creating tension, okay? So in order to understand back body breathing, the reason why, I mean, you guys, again, it's just anatomy. Think about it. your rib cage ends here in the front. But where does your rib cage end in the back? It goes all the way down. My lowest ribs are like all the way down here. Okay. Why? Because your ribs are there to protect your lungs. And you have more lung in the back than you do in the front. Like, you guys have all seen pictures of the lungs. They kind of go like this and then they curve down. Okay. So your lungs are in your back. And so we need to get in touch with breathing into the back. Don't worry about your belly. Okay. Your belly is going to move and pooch out when you inhale. Why? Because we just learned about the diaphragm. And when you inhale, the diaphragm lowers to make room for the lungs, and it pushes down on all your internal organs, which have nowhere else to go except out. That's why your belly inflates when you breathe. But don't focus on putting the breath there, because ain't no lungs in your belly. Okay. So to feel this, we're going to do what I call the rag doll. So what that is I'm going to move back a little bit. You're going to dangle. You're just going to hang and just give an easy bend to your knees. Let your head hang heavy. Let your arms hang heavy. And I want you to do a nose breath into your back. So as you inhale through your nose, visualize the air flooding into your back and up towards the ceiling. And if you're watching me, you can see my back, and you can see, whoops, there I go. Now you can see me. You can see my back expand. Okay. So try it. Everybody ragdoll. And a nose breath into your back. Send that breath up towards the ceiling, and really imagine that, like, I am standing behind you and I've got two hands right on top of your back ribs. And I want you to breathe into my hands and really send that breath right into your back. And as you're dangling and you're hanging over in the ragdoll, you can really feel this breath going right into your back. Okay. So take a minute and just notice this. Okay. Okay. And you give a nice little bend to your knees. Let your head hang heavy. Like, let all the weight of your head just pull out your neck, and do just a couple more into your back. Okay. So now you're going to roll up and you're going to stand normal, and you're going to inhale into your back the exact same way. Nose breath, and send it right into your back. And so what that looks like, so if you watch me, you can see, okay, if I'm breathing into my back, it looks like this. Okay, now, if I'm not breathing into my back, this is what happens. And I get half as much air and 3 times as much tension. Okay, so here's how you know if you are over breathing, because I can breathe into my back like this, and it's a nice, open, filling breath. Now, I can keep going, but you see what happens? It gets all up in here if I keep going. So you need to know when you are over breathing. And here's a rule of thumb about that, which is if you feel it get above your armpits, you're over breathing. So me with a nice, easy breath, you see how it stops right here? Because the majority of my lung it stops here. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't keep going. I can, but then I'm setting up too much tension, and then you'll see it get all up in here. Okay, so no breath above the armpits. Okay, now this brings me to concept number 4. So concept number 3 was lungs are in your back. Concept number 4 is the inhale is a release. Okay, do not take a breath. I hate that phrase. I hate that phrase, take a breath, because when you think take something, what do? You grab, you pull, you activate. And then this is taking a breath, is okay. Instead, the thing that I tell our singers all the time is let the breath come in. Okay. There's a difference between taking, which is and that sets up tension, and tension is the enemy of the singer, versus Let the breath come in. You guys, you know how to breathe. You walk around all day, every day, breathing beautiful, normal life breaths that sustain you, that give you as much oxygen as you need. And you know what you are not doing? You are not walking around all day going, and yet that's how so many of you breathe when you sing. You would pass out if you walked around all day doing that. So why do we think we need to do that when we sing? Mainly for two reasons. Number one, mindset. We're back to mindset. Because we need to do it right. We need to prove. We need to get it right. We need to get the high note. We need to do. We need to force. We need to control. And so we do that on the inhale. And now we've taken the breath, and now we have all the tension in here. And you guys, if the inhale starts that way, the rest of the phrase will be that way. It's impossible to get out of it, okay? So the inhale is not a doing. You guys do not need to take air into your body. It's just physics. Again, this is all just science, okay? We're not like inventing the wheel here. If you think about high school physics, anybody remember high school physics? Law of equilibrium, yeah? Like a gas wants to equalize on either side of a membrane, right? So if the air on this side, the density of the air is greater on this side of the membrane than it is on this side. The air wants to travel through the membrane, the gas, and it wants to equalize. That's the law of equilibrium in like 10th grade physics, right? Well, that is working in your favor when it comes to breathing in your inhale. When the pressure of the air inside your body, inside your lungs, is different than the pressure outside of the body because it's time to breathe, all you got to do is open up and the air will come into your body. You do not have to take it. The law of equilibrium tells us that the pressure of the gas wants to equalize. So you don't have to take a breath. All you got to do is open your body, release your body, and the air will come in. And you will get more air because you are now open, rather than what happens when you try to take the breath, which is you grab and you close. That's why you get that sound. You hear singers breathe and you hear that. That's because literally the muscles around their trachea and their larynx are closing up to try to grab that air. And now there's less room for the air to travel and there's more resistance, which is why you get that sound. Versus I just got way more air in way less time, and I wasn't trying to pull air into my body. All I was doing was releasing. So your job when you inhale, when you breathe, is to release. Release your throat, release your jaw, release your ribs, release your belly. Okay, so that's another really important thing, which is if you're singing and you're engaged in all this flex and all this support, you gotta let it go to breathe. Like, let it go, okay? Like so many of us, especially women, we walk around with a little bit of sucking it in here, right? We don't want to like muffin top, right? So we suck it in here and we don't even realize that we're walking around with just 50% worth of like tension in there, just holding in our bellies, okay? When you breathe, guys, you got to let it go. Let go of the support, let go of the tension. It's a release, okay? So now we're going to put these concepts together, okay? You release on the inhale, then you flex as you go to make sound. But we're not even going to make sound right now. We're just going to do it on a hiss, okay? So to do this, we need to understand the concept of what I call the container of support. So the container of support is not just these muscles that we just talked about, but the top of the container is the rib cage. And the bottom of the container is your pelvic floor. So your pelvic floor is between your legs. It's the muscles between where you pee and where you poo, okay? Everybody has it, men, women, otherwise known as perineum, sometimes called the taint, I don't know. That's pelvic floor, okay? So first let's talk about ribs, then we're gonna talk about pelvic floor. So when we inhale, we talked about it being a release. So we release and let these muscles in between the ribs, called the intercostal muscles, just let go and everything flies open. See, I'm talking to you and I'm still letting it be buoyant. I haven't let it go, okay? Now, when we support, okay, it's not just these muscles, but also the feeling of the intercostals also flex and lean out, okay? So many of you, you do a beautiful expansion on your inhale, but then this is what happens when you move air. You do this. And then everything literally just collapses right back down. So now, not only do you not have these muscles of support helping your diaphragm to stay low, but in addition, now you've got heavy bones of ribs collapsing. And if you think about this diaphragm that was here and these ribs that are now gonna come in like this, and what do? They push the diaphragm even further up, okay? So when we talk about the container of support, we want to maintain the integrity of this container. Sometimes I like to, it can feel like a corset. You're creating that corset, that stability, that structure with these muscles all around so that the diaphragm stays stable, stays low, and moves slow, okay? So the other part of that container is the bottom, is the pelvic floor. And you can feel your pelvic floor if it goes in two directions. I did a training on this a couple of weeks ago in our Facebook group. Pull your pelvic floor up towards your belly button for a second, and like if you're trying not to pee, right? So you can like pull it up towards your navel, like you're trying to hold from going to the bathroom. Okay, so that's one direction the pelvic floor can go. Okay, now another direction pelvic floor can go is in the opposite direction, like you're bearing down, like as if you were having a bowel movement or you were giving birth. Okay, that's the direction that we want pelvic floor to go to stabilize diaphragm. So you can get in touch with your pelvic floor by feeling how you can pull it up and how you can bear down, and get in touch with being able to manipulate it in all directions. But just know that for our purposes, it is leaning and flexing down on pelvic floor that we want. So stand back up, put your hands back on your obliques, and I want you to imagine like you were pooping for a second. And I want you to bear down on pelvic floor and feel what happens underneath your hands. You notice how all of these muscles engage. You're not thinking about engaging these muscles, but when you bear down on pelvic floor, all of a sudden, all these muscles flex. Notice if you bear down on pelvic floor, there's no possible way that all those muscles can contract. There's no way they can go in the opposite direction. If you are leaning on pelvic floor, everything will flex the way you want it to, okay? So we've got the two pieces that are moving this way, away from diaphragm. If we're moving towards diaphragm, that's going to sabotage your air. You're going to push too much air out too quickly, and then you're going to be out of breath. It's going to be airy, and you're going to create tension, okay? So I want to now go back to the top of the container because we understand the stability of the bottom of the container. So if we go back to the top of the container and we think about our ribs, okay, it's not always intuitive to us to keep our ribs buoyant, to keep our ribs from either actively pushing down or accidentally abdicating and collapsing down. So what I want you guys to think of is I want you to imagine that you have either, like ladies, like a strapless bra or a strapless bathing suit, or gentlemen, like a belt right around here, and it's all fastened one size too big. So the belt is fastened like one loop too big, the bra is fastened one size too big, and you have to fill out your bra, fill out your belt, and you're gonna hiss, but you're not gonna let the belt or the bra fall down, okay? Which means that you need to think of leaning out into these muscles so that it doesn't do this. That's totally inefficient, wastes air, leaking left and right. Instead, see, I'm talking to you and I still haven't let this go. I'm really, really engaged. Okay, now I'll let it go. Okay, so everybody try this. You're gonna put your hand on your lap, like right under your bra line, or if you're a girl, or right around the back, because I want you to try to feel your back ribs. Okay, so one hand on your lap, yep. And I want you to breathe into your hand And then I want you to hiss also into your hand. Nothing is moving this way. So try it. Breathe in to your hand. Now hiss into your hand. And see if you can feel that sensation of the inhale expansion and then the continued expansion as you go to hiss. And so what we're doing here is helping you to keep your diaphragm stable, because these are all the things that destabilize it. When ribs contract in, when these muscles contract in, when pelvic floor is flouncy, all of that affects what happens to the diaphragm, which then affects the air. And then it's not a steady stream. And then the sound that comes from it is not the most efficient. So what we want to do, two things when you're practicing the hissing, and I want you to do an on-off hissing, and this includes the inhale. So this is how you're going to practice releasing on the inhale, engaging on the hiss, practicing consistent engagement while you hiss, and then letting go again as you inhale. It's very simple, but it's absolutely foundational. So you're going to mind your ribs here, and then you're going to mind your lower support here. And again, I like obliques, because when you fire obliques, everything fires. You're going to release the body on the breath. Then you're going to hiss for like 3 beats. And then you're going to let go. And when you let go, a little bit of air comes in. And then you're going to go back on. And you're going to go back and forth. And what you want to monitor for is, are you doing this? Or are you doing this? Are you flexing or are you contracting? Are you leaning out into your ribs or are you collapsing into your ribs? Okay. So the point here, guys, is consistency. Don't give your whole flexing away at the beginning. This is what we call appoggio. So you guys may have heard this term. It's an Italian term that's used in classical singing when we talk about breath support. And the word appoggio in Italian means to lean. Similar, those of you who speak Spanish, apoyar, to lean, okay? Appoggio, that's the sensation of the flex. It's gentle, it's not a whack, okay? The lean it's something that you flow through. And it's the consistency of that lean and that flow through over the course of the hiss or the phrase that you're singing that matters, not the force of that flex and that lean, okay? The other reason we call appoggio, that we call it a lean, is because it's out and away from your body. You're not leaning in, so to speak. You're leaning out. So I can go, and it's like uncomfortable, it's airy, it doesn't feel good, and I'm already out of breath, and I'm only saying like half a measure. Versus, and you'll notice that I increase my lean as I rise in pitch. Watch my body. You can see it most specifically here. And it doesn't matter if I'm going up, if I'm going down, it doesn't matter if I'm changing pitch, it doesn't matter. That consistency is what matters, okay? Now, the idea of the appoggio, the exercise that I want you to practice with this tonight, is the on-off hissing, not letting the metaphorical belt or bra fall down, okay? Monitor yourself. Hiss into your palms, release and breathe into your palms. And see what happens. And we'll check in more on this tomorrow, okay? But when you're practicing this, concept number 6 is that the off is just as important as the on. You have to release your lean. You have to release your support and your appoggio when you inhale. You have to. Otherwise, you're just carrying that engagement and trying to breathe on top of it, and you can't. So try that, and you'll see what happens. So engage your support, like engage that flex, bear down on your pelvic floor, and while you're bearing down, try to breathe. And it's like all up here. You can't. You've got to release this when you breathe. So that's concept number 6. The off is just as important as the on. Release and be present to that. I'm on when I'm on, and then I'm off and I let go. And the air comes in. I don't even have to think about it because I'm releasing and the laws of physics are on my side. If I just release and open up, the air will come in. Okay. Okay. Couple pitfalls to be aware of here, which is number one, and I mentioned this a little bit, but the focus of support is not the middle of your belly. Okay. That's like your belly pushing out and all of that. That's not where I want you to focus. I want you to focus on what's going on around it. Up here, on the obliques, underneath, in the back. All of this is what we're leaning out into. So don't get trapped in focusing on what's happening right around here. Okay. Second thing is, be aware of not pushing too far out in your ribs. So as you're hissing and you're leaning and not letting the bathing suit fall down or the belt fall down, you can go too far and then it feels like, and you're like trying to push it out. Okay, so it's not a pushing out and then a holding. It's the idea of flowing through. That I cannot, we coached all on that this morning, the singers who are in my program. It was all this idea of flowing through. If you can visualize yourself flowing through your ribs, then you'll be able to actually continue that expansion instead of visualizing it like you got to hold them out. If you think you got to hold them out, then you will, and you will force and you will hold and you will just end up creating more tension. Okay. So don't go too far to push your ribs out, just flow through them. And then the last pitfall to be aware of is just be careful as you're practicing this of your ribs collapsing or pushing in immediately. So if you notice that you have a really nice expansion on the inhale and you're monitoring it, so you have your hand here, and you notice that whenever you go to, for the onset of the hiss, that this is what's starting the hiss, like this, that like this moving in is what's starting the hiss, then what you know is this is not starting, the lower support is not starting it, but that's what's supposed to be starting it. So visualize this as like a connected, everything connected and everything is moving out and down and away. Okay, so play with that so that you're not getting into the habit of accidentally starting sound by pushing your ribs in. Okay, so from the hiss, and by the way, you guys are going to get the replay of this so you can go and stop and start and play with all of this. From the hiss, now you're ready to put some vibration to it, which is what we do, why we do lip trills. So lip trills are absolutely foundational. It is something that we do with our singers. I don't care how advanced you are. If you've been working with me for a decade or more, we will always come back to lip trills because it shows you exactly where the inefficiencies are. Because in a lip trill, and by a lip trill, what I mean is, hold on, like my original sound on. Okay, a lip trill is this. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about when I talk about a lip trill. And it is absolutely the best way to learn breath support because the vibration of your lips is approximating the vibration of the vocal cords. And so if you can't get a lip trill going, if the lip trill poops out, if, that's all showing you that there is some kind of interruption in the exact right velocity and volume of the air passing through the cords because it's also passing through the lips. And if it's not steady with the right amount and the right speed, then it's not going to vibrate the lips the way you want it to either. Okay. So the first thing that we want to do when we talk about lip trills, and this is concept number 7 when it comes to breath support, is support before you phonate. How many voice teachers have ever told you that? I certainly didn't learn that until like decades into my training. Support before you phonate. So what does that mean? I want you to watch. You're gonna watch my anatomy here, and you're gonna see that. Let me see this. And you're gonna see, watch here, because you can really see it on my obliques. You're gonna see these muscles fire into their apoyo, into their flex, into their lean. You're going to see it before you hear me phonate. You're going to see me start to support like maybe an eighth note before. Watch. Okay, so it's really clear. That's why I wear my breath support shirt, because you can really see it. Okay, this is essential, because if you do not support before you phonate, then what you're doing is you're trying to support your way into your sing. And if the body doesn't feel inherently supported, some other part of your body is going to come in to try to compensate, namely throat, jaw, tongue, or upper body is going to try to come in to support that sound in the absence of what should be there supporting the sound, which is all of this. And now you're in all kinds of tension. So, we talk a lot about the idea of tension being the enemy of the singer. And if you have tension, it is a dead giveaway that your support is not dialed in. So start to play with this idea of engaging your flex before the lip trill, before you start the lip trill. It is key, okay? So the exercises that I want you to do is I want you to go back to back from the hiss to the lip trill with these two concepts: support before you phonate, and do not change how you're using your body between the hiss and the lip trill. So if I'm on the hiss and I'm feeling myself, be nice and consistent into both my hands, keeping my strapless bra from falling down on a good 4-beat hiss. When I go to lip trill, that does not change. Okay, so you're going to go back and forth. Like into your hands, flow through, like what I was saying, okay? Then you're going to start to change pitch, and you're going to do a 1-5-1 into the lip trill instead of a single pitch, which is, okay? Now, we need to bring back this idea of appoggio, because guess what? When you start to change pitch, I guarantee you at least 50% of you are going to do this. Watch my support and watch my ribs. You're going to go right to want to push that pitch up, okay? And that's what sabotages your high notes. So many of you wrote me, in anticipation of this workshop, telling me that high notes were a problem. Expanding into the higher part of your range is a direct result of efficient breath support. Because guess what? If you're pushing in to push the pitch up, you're flooding way too much air. Now tension creeps in to mitigate all that air, and you can't sing high notes with all the tension, okay? So this is the beginning of how we're gonna undo that, which is to make sure that as you are rising in pitch on the lip trill, you're leaning and flexing down and flowing through all parts of this container, out and down the pelvic floor, down and expanding. Everything is moving, flowing through, away and leaning gently away. Again, it's not the force that matters. It's the consistency. So if I'm changing pitch and I'm doing this, am I consistent? No, I'm changing something. But if you do it efficiently, watch my body. You just see me get more solid, more solid, more solid, more solid. And it has zero to do with the direction of the pitch, okay? So that brings us to concept number 8, which is do not change support when you change pitch. If you learn nothing else from me in this week, that will be game changing for you. Most of you get into trouble in your range, in all these things, with tension, with strain, with all this stuff, because your support is not actually supportive. So if you think about something that supports something, like a table, this is the analogy I love to use. The legs of the table, they support the table. If the legs are steady and strong because they support the table. If the legs are not supportive and they're doing all like this, everything's gonna fall off the table, okay? So when you think about things that support things, they're things that are stable and consistent, that keep things like where you want them. You know what I mean? Like ladies, you wear a bra to support your girls. keeps them where you want them, you know? Same thing here. The idea of the support, it is the consistency that matters. So if you're changing pitch and you're changing support when you change pitch, I mean, I can't tell you how many singers are doing like this. Amazing grace, right? And I mean, I don't sound good when I sing like that because there's nothing supporting my air, which is my diaphragm, which is supporting the diaphragm to stay low and move slow. Rather, amazing grace, steady, steady, steady. Okay, so do not change support when you change pitch. It's like, you know, think of a surfer, right? It's like if the surfer catches a steady wave, he's going to make it to the beach. If the wave is jerky, it's going to jerk him off his board. He's not going to make it to the beach. That consistency of your body creates the steady wave with your air, so that if you get that steady wave, you could be doing flip-flops on your surfboard and you will make it to the beach. Okay, so as you're doing hisses, your intention is for stability and consistency of flowing through your flex. When you start on the lip trill, it's exactly the same thing. Stability, consistency of flowing through that flex. And then you go to change pitch, stability and consistency of flowing through that flex. So if you watch my body between the hiss and between the lip trill and between changing pitches, it's exactly the same. Okay, that's what I want you to go for and to practice here, okay? So now there's one other piece of this though, which is now we're gonna add syllables, okay? So here again, we're adding a different piece, but don't change how you're using your body. Your mind is gonna wanna convince that your body, oh no, now we're gonna sing, we gotta make it sound good. And then all the things you discovered in your thought exercise and all the ways that you don't want to fail are going to come rushing back to you because now we're on syllables. Now we're singing, right? And so all the habits of make, force, do, manipulate that have sabotaged your support in the past are going to try to come rushing back in. So we're not singing now. We're just vibrating on pitch, okay? So we're gonna add a mamo moo on a scale. So you're gonna get present in the moment of your body. You're gonna direct yourself to use your body in the exact same way that you did for the hiss and the lip trills. And you're gonna use the progression to set up how you use your body. So you're gonna practice your lean and your apoyo on your hiss, and then the lip trill, and then the mamo moo scale. So it's gonna be like this. Okay, back to back to back, because you've got to set it up each layer of this with the intention of, okay, know how to do that on the hiss. Now I can vibrate. Now I can add syllables. Couple things to look for. I don't want you, when you add syllables, to think that it's all of a sudden 5 different things. Mamo, 9 different things. It's still one thing, just like it was with the hiss, just like it was with the lip trill. One lean. Don't get into the pitfall of doing this. Mamo, okay? One thing. Mamo. If you think about it like a bow on a string, if you're a violin player, right? We're not bowing on every note. Mamo. No. Mamo. One bow, okay? Single bow. That helps you in your mind to set up the idea that that lean is consistent. And you guys, it's gentle. Don't whack it. Do not whack your flex, okay? Gentle and consistent is the key. So don't forget to release that lean, that flex when you inhale, and then bring that idea of present moment awareness into the moment of singing and witness your body as you're doing it. See if you can follow your physiology as you do the mamo moo or as you do the lip trill, and ask yourself, where do I lose my lean? Or where do I go from flex back to contract? And use what you're learning in the meditation of getting present to your mind and to your body to start to feel and identify these things. Okay. Okay. So let's see how you're putting this into play into your body. So I recognize that now we have done a full hour of training on this. So if you guys are willing to stay and you want to stay and do a little get up and guinea pig coaching on this, if you have to go, I fully understand. You can watch the replay, but I hope you'll stay if you can. So, okay. So who would like to be a guinea pig and coach on this? Use the raise hand function. Okay. All right, so I saw, first hand I saw was Nunzio. So let's go ahead and unmute Nunzio.
Did I come through?
Yeah, you did. All right,
Okay.
so just want to make sure that you have original sound turned on.
I do, so you can hear
Great.
me better.
Perfect. Okay, so
Can I ask you a quick question first,
Of
if you don't
course.
mind?
No, sure.
Because I don't know, I feel like I had like the best coach in the world until she died, and the only thing I ever remember her teaching me when I was extremely young was that she put my hands on her back and made me feel how she would breathe into her lungs back here.
Great.
And everything I ever did with her was just natural. And when she died, I started listening to other people saying it takes the strength of doing a sit up. And all that did was just jam up my throat, and it just completely screwed me up. So to get rid of all that, I vocalize walking down the street because I can't really use tension and walk and sing. So, or
Yeah.
when I'm performing, I'll move on stage because it gets rid of all the tension in my throat and I can't overbreathe. So for
Yeah.
me, I get my high notes by moving. She used to say to
Right.
me, take a step forward. When you want to go for the high note, don't hold a dime in your ass like they tell you at the university. She said, that's really the wrong way to say it.
So
And she had some great,
you have found you have found a little hack for yourself, a little workaround for
right,
yourself in terms of moving.
right.
However, there there are times when you can't, when you
I
need
know,
to
I
just
know.
be.
And
And
there's
so what I
times when
want
you have
to
mucus in your throat like this
That's
too, and I don't
okay.
know what to do about
Don't
that.
worry about it. Okay, so go ahead and stand up. And
Okay,
let's just go through the progression of
sure.
going from the hiss and to the lip trill. Great. Are you able to tilt the screen ever so slightly so I can just see your head, but a little bit more of you down here?
Like like
Yeah, or you
that?
might need to just back up a little bit. Back. Are you able to back up?
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So, here, let's see. What voice type are you? Are you baritone? Where are you usually?
I used to be able to sing 5 octaves off the piano, so technically I'm a tenor.
Okay. So we'll start you here. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're just gonna hiss first before you lip trill. So I just wanna see you hiss. And I would love for you to have one hand around your lat and one hand on your oblique, not in the middle, on the side.
I just want to say before we start, I know I have horrible breath support because
But that's why you're
when I
here. That's why we're working
I
on
know,
it.
so I'm just
So
telling you so.
don't apologize. Don't apologize. That's why we're here. Okay, so not in the center, guys, because remember, this doesn't matter. On the side. Yep. So you feel those muscles. Now, before you do anything, I just want you to gently bear down on your pelvic floor. Do you feel the muscles underneath your hand engage?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so let it go. Just be neutral. And we're just gonna just breathe into your back and give me like a 4 or 5 beat hiss. Okay, hold on. Let's do it again. I can hear body wants to be a little tentative. It's like you guys use your air. That doesn't mean push, but it means don't be afraid of using your air. So making sure that when you're doing a hiss, guys, that it does not have a T in front of it. It's not TS, it's not tss, it's just s, okay? And so what you're gonna do, Nunzio, is you're gonna let the inhale come in, and then I want you to imagine the hiss. You have lots of little different hisses like floating around in the basin of your pelvis, okay? And your job is to tap one of those hisses and just let it come up and out. And use your air.
Okay.
Yep, let's do it again. Take the T out. The reason, you guys, the reason he wants to do the T is because his body still wants to start the hiss from up here. And I want you to start it from down here. So engage before the hiss. Yes, flow through, flow through, flow through. There you go.
Now, I
You
do
see
feel something like back here when I'm doing that. Is that good or bad? Like in the base of the rib cage of the spine? Got too much tension there? If I feel
like
that?
how low? Like down here?
Like literally, like around C5 or somewhere in there, in the low
Okay, no.
back.
These
I feel
muscles
like I'm
do.
pulling up right there.
I mean, those muscles will flex. They will flex, but it shouldn't be painful. Is
No,
it
it's not
painful
painful.
or do you just feel
No, I don't
sensation?
know. I just want to make sure it's not causing tension in my body. That's all.
Okay. No. Okay, so now we're gonna do the lip trill. Okay, so the
Okay.
same feeling where I was asking you to engage here first before the hiss, okay, and then flow through. Just a single note hiss.
Okay.
Good.
Now all my
Now,
air is gone.
okay,
That fast.
okay. So let's do it again. And I want you to bring your awareness to what's happening here, and I want you to just feel and witness as you do the lip trill, and tell me what you feel.
Okay.
You see,
It
I
all
can.
collapsed. It just all
What?
collapsed.
Yeah, it is,
I
and
feel like
you
it
can see
collapsed.
it. Like you can see it on the
I don't
screen.
know. I don't know how to keep it open. Is really my issue. I know this.
Okay, so let's use the training. Okay, so want you to imagine that you have a belt right here tied around you, and it's one size too big. So relax your arms. It's just an imagination. Okay, it's a belt and it's one size too big. Now you're going to inhale, and on the inhale, I want you to fill out the belt so that it doesn't fall down. Just on the inhale. Go ahead. Yep, yes. You feel how your back expands and you feel everything expand. Okay, good. Let it go. Okay. You're gonna do it again. And this time, I want you to hiss into the belt. Do not let the belt fall down as you're hissing. Do it again. Okay, but just on a hiss, not on a lip trill. Just a
Oh, I'm
hiss.
sorry.
That's okay. Good. I don't see it massively collapsing when you hiss. Do you notice that?
But I don't feel it staying open like it probably should. Am I trying to get too much out of thinking it needs to stay open, the ribs?
Well,
In other words,
so
if I inhale even into my back, my ribs will expand.
yep. Yeah, okay, but see what's happening is okay, I totally see what's happening. So you guys, what's happening to Nunzio, and it might be happening to you too. So see if this feels true for you in your body as well, is that you're not collapsing here, but you're also not engaging and flowing through here. So there's literally at a certain point nothing that's moving the air. And so then your body starts to go like this to move the air.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
definitely what's going on.
that's absolutely what's going on. Okay. So again, you guys, this is like two things. Okay? It's not collapsing this, but engaging this. The thing is, I don't want you to think about not collapsing, Nunzio. It's like we don't want to tell ourselves what not to do. We want to tell ourselves what is the positive thing we want instead, because it's like what energy flows where attention goes. And so it's like if you're on a diet and you tell yourself, don't have the ice cream, don't have the ice cream, don't have the ice cream, but you're still thinking about the freaking ice cream.
Right.
Instead, like, have an apple, have an apple, have an apple, So instead, I want you to link these two things, because both of these things need to be active in flexing and leaning out. Okay? So hands here, and now I'm going to have you put one hand here. In fact, don't even worry about this hand. Just be right here on your six pack, okay? And I want you to hiss into your hand. And move those muscles into your hand as you hiss. Yes, use it. Go. Flex, flex, flex. Yes. Yes. Do you notice, were you able to keep those muscles moving into your hand?
Yeah. for me, like that pressing out into the solar plex, it's kind of like feels, yeah, but I'm not pressing down
That's
into the
okay
pelvis.
that's okay for right now, because when you're here, when these muscles flex, they help to keep the ribs apart. Okay? So now we're going to take this sensation so you understand what the expansion is on the inhale. You understand what the flex is to move here. So we're just going to continue everything moving out and down. So activate that pooping sensation as you do it on the flex. Just continue it into the floor of this container, not just the sides of this container.
Is it okay to keep my hand here to feel if I'm actually doing anything or not?
What are you trying to do? What are you
Okay.
trying to feel?
I'm just trying to see if I can keep that sensation of keeping the ribs open. That's all.
Okay, so then you can be wrapped around because ribs are in the back if you want, and you can be here, or you can be like here and here, because if you collapse, you'll feel it here. Like you'll feel it immediately even if you're here. So just keeping your palm on the muscles, and you can be. I keep disappearing. You can be here. Okay?
Okay.
And find your flex. Relax your shoulders. Ah. But I guarantee you that that's something that happens that you don't realize. And so you see, you guys, he's already up here. Okay? So there you go. Okay. So connect with your back body on the inhale and then flow through. That's the apple, not the ice cream. Okay? Do it on a hiss. Yes. So there's a moment where I feel that the quality of the hiss changes. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it again. And I want you to see if you can use your present moment awareness to notice what's happening in your body when that happens. It's better.
That time I felt myself starting to bear down.
Good.
In my mind, I said, okay, try to do that without
Okay.
creating tension in your throat.
Okay. And it was automatically better because in that moment that the quality of the lip trill would have changed, which is when everything would have started to collapse, you dug deeper and you bared down. And then everything stayed. Or it didn't stay, it continued to flow through. Okay. So
That's like your rescue to keep it going.
it's what I want you to be in most of the time.
Oh,
I don't really want you to wait until it's like danger. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be incorporating that deeper pelvic floor gently and consistently over the course of all of it. You try?
okay. Yeah.
Try. Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. Yes, Nunzio. What did that feel like to you?
It felt better.
Yeah.
That
So
probably
now,
explains why every time I do a lip trill, it always just stops, unless I use my fingers too.
right, because the problem is not what's going on up here. It stops because what's been managing your air has completely left the building. Yeah. So
Yeah.
now do the lip trill. Or we start here. In your register, but so what you felt by this consistently going more and lower, that's what you're going to feel as you do the lip trill.
Did I inhale okay? And if not, just stop me, please.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I'll tell you.
That letting go is what I have to learn.
Okay. Okay, good. So you're doing good on the onset. And here's what I want you to play with. As you go up in pitch, I'm going to encourage you to slow down a little bit to really feel the lip trill. So more a little bit this tempo. Just a hair slower, a little bit more feeling of like luxuriating in it, okay? And what I'm noticing is that I think you can play with the idea of lower as you go higher. meaning as you rise in pitch, send more flex and flow down through pelvic floor. Can you try that? Uh-huh. Good. Again. Okay, so do you notice how top pitch is flat, that we're not quite getting up there? Okay,
Yeah.
so let's abandon
Does
just,
it have tension in here or?
whoa, hold on. So forget the 151 melody for right now. And I just want you to siren on a lip trill. As high as you want to go, just siren on a lip trill, but using your new tools, okay?
Can I use my fingers or not?
No.
Okay.
Do you know why I'm saying no?
Yeah, because it's a crutch.
Yeah, but do you know why? Do you know what it achieves?
No.
Okay. Because too much air is coming up. It's too much air. The air is not being managed where it needs to be. So when you do this, you can constrict the space and you make a smaller stream of air. Without that, it's a little I'm exaggerating.
Right.
Okay.
That's probably what's
So
gonna happen.
so imagine that, like, you know, like in a syringe, you pull the stopper down, okay? And then if you want to move the air out, you got to push the stopper up to move whatever's in the syringe up. I want you to reverse that. I want you to imagine that when you're doing the lip trill, the stopper, that's your diaphragm, your lower muscles, and your pelvic floor. They're all going this way. Can you try that? Just on a, you can siren however high you want to go. There it is. Now he's on pitch.
I actually leaned in, my whole body just like, I don't, did you see me do this? I actually really did lean.
I didn't notice you
At least I
pitched
felt
forward.
that. Maybe I didn't, but maybe I felt that sensation of me
It
doing
didn't
that.
stand out to me. I'd have to go back and watch the recording, but it didn't stand out to me that you did that.
That felt
So
100 times.
yeah. So
100.
okay, so what's the distinction for you? How are you going to find this again in your own practice?
It was really that feeling of leaning forward. Like,
Okay, so here's the thing though. I don't want you to lean forward because I don't want that to become a habit, because that's really not where the power in this is. The power in this is in the down. It's in diaphragm, muscles, and pelvic floor being the syringe that's going this way as the pitch rises. Visualize it and create that sensation in your body of moving your muscles, flexing them down. Let's see if you can try it again without pitching forward, and just internally create the sensation. Yeah, go further with the down. Go towards the thing that you're worried about, which might be cracking, it might be not doing it right. I could give a shit. I just want you to like really go for the sensation between your legs and in that flex. Try it. Stop her down. Okay, so I did see you pitch forward on that one. And I also know that internally you did exactly what you needed to do because you were not flat. This is just a
right.
little bit of what's happening to kind of help you get there. So you're going to practice this up against the wall. You're going to put your shoulder
Okay.
blades on the wall. Your head doesn't go on the wall because you don't want to you don't want the, you
Right.
know what I mean? You want the natural alignment, but shoulder blades and hips on the wall, and you'll feel if you come forward, okay? Another way you can practice it is on the floor, knees up, so feet on the floor, knees up, head a little bit supported on the book, and you'll notice if you start to want to, like this, you know what I mean? So, but this is it. You get it in your body. Are you able to identify the feeling? What does it
I
feel
definitely
like?
felt that. I definitely felt that sensation of the pushing. It was not really it wasn't a tense push, but it really was like leaning.
Yes, that's why like we
That's
don't
really
call
what
it
it
a,
felt.
yeah, because we don't call it a push, guys, because the language that we use to describe these things for ourselves, they matter because they're gonna determine what we do. So if he tells himself push, he's gonna push, and then he's gonna go too far, too fast, and he's gonna whack it, like we said, no whacking the support, right?
I know that's where all my high notes are because I never really sang in falsetto, but now it's just a crutch that I'll just go use that if I need to when I'm performing.
Right, but
But
now
I
you're
don't
not gonna
want
need
to.
to, because now you know
No,
where
because
to
I
anchor
feel
it.
this.
Yes, you know where to
Yeah.
anchor it. So you guys, when it, thank you, by the way. Everybody give Nunzio a hand for being our
No,
first
thank
guinea
you so
pig.
much. I really appreciate you.
Oh,
I
you're
mean,
so
thank you
welcome.
so much. Really.
Yeah. But you guys, this is where the high notes, this is what happens, okay? Like everybody has problems with high notes. Like a lot of the time it's because they're just not anchored at all. And so if you think of you guys ever been to like a 4-year-old's birthday party and they have like the party balloons on the table, the helium balloons, and there's like the little weight at the bottom, like the little anchor that's keeping them on the table because the helium is going this way, right? So the high note, metaphorically speaking, you guys, you don't have your anchor. You don't have any of this grounding you and keeping diaphragm low and grounding you down here. And so you go up for the pitch and everything in your body goes up with it. And it's like the helium balloons without the anchor. And then everything just flies away and you don't have any control over it. So this is the very first essential foundation for those of you who want to expand your range or who have problems with high notes, is to really get in touch with the consistency of anchoring this. Okay, we have time for one more. And again, I know we're going over time. I'm happy to do it. If those of you want to leave, if you have to go, you can watch the replay. Let's see. All right, who do I see in here? Okay, wait, hold on. I have to switch my view so I can see whose hands are up. All right. Okay, Marie. Go ahead and unmute. Hello. Are you on a desktop or are you on a computer? Okay, so if you go down to the bottom where it says mute, you'll see a little microphone icon at the bottom of the Zoom screen. I'm gonna do this. Now something should pop up. No? Let's see. There you are.
Oh, thank
you. Okay. So let's do the same progression and let's see what's going on in your body. Okay. So hiss to a single note lip trill to the 1-5-1 lip trill. Just that far. No mamo moo right now. Wait, do you have your original sound on?
I don't know. I couldn't figure that out.
Okay, look on your Zoom screen. Look to see, you'll see where I am on the left. Look up and you'll see original sound for musicians. It'll say off or on. If you don't see that there, then you don't have it enabled.
I don't have a clue. I'm 65, honey.
Hey, my parents are 75. If they can figure it out, you can figure it out.
Well,
Not letting you stand in your excuses. Okay, here.
I have old contacts in. I see.
Hold on. I'm sharing my screen. So if this were the Zoom screen, this is Ashley in the Zoom meeting.
I saw that. I don't see those 3 dots.
No, you don't need 3 dots.
Okay.
You will literally see this in, if you don't see it, it means you haven't enabled it in your settings.
I do not see it.
Okay, so in the interest of time.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. In the interest of time, I'm just gonna have you do, so stand back up. That's okay.
Okay.
Okay, stand back up. Okay, good. So now let me see you lip trill and we'll see what the sound does. So we're just gonna go single note. Okay. All right. I'm watching your body right now. Let's do the 1-5-1. Okay. Okay. So you guys, what's interesting here, it's kind of cool that her original sound isn't working because we're not really hearing the lip trill because Zoom doesn't like lip trills, but I'm watching your body and I'm seeing you guys, if you watch her physiology, I'm not seeing you collapse. I'm seeing you stay pretty steady. What do you feel? Do you feel that?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're gonna take that into the mamo moo. And so we're gonna do mamo moo. But do not, hold on, do not change how you use your body, okay? So find the release on the inhale and then same way that you did the lip trill, but on a mamo moo.
Mama.
Good. Now let's see what happens if we take her up into higher head voice. Okay. So as you went up to the higher, did you start to notice this wants to kick in a little bit to help you on the higher note? Did you notice that?
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to just do it on a lip trill. And as you lip trill up from, I want you to feel yourself put that rise in pitch, lean into your hands. If this is my muscles, I'm going to go Leaning out and down. That's the gas pedal, guys. That's what helps the pitch rise. Try it. Okay, instead of doing the triad, just do the siren. Just. Yes. So as you do it now, I want you to connect to your back body. So we're going to do it again. Nose breath, and really feel the breath go into your back. Do it again. Hold on. Take a second and give yourself time for the inhale. Okay, so let your breath go. Now nose breath into your back. Find your ribs. Okay, so no, this is good. Even though I wanted you to do the and you're doing, it's actually good because what I can hear is that Marie wants to change and hit her support on each pitch. So what I'm getting is, and watch my body, watch how I'm creating that. It's like hit, 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 hit. So that would be the analogy of the violinist going instead of one thing. Okay, so let's go back to that idea of we do not change support when we change pitch, right, guys? And this is like, Marie, any other voice teacher would let you get away with this, okay? But you want to get to that next level. And so these are the things that really deck consistency and reliability. Because if you change support every time you change pitch, how supportive is that support? It's constantly changing. Okay, so find the siren in it, meaning connect the dots. There are no arrival points here, guys. It's not this note, this note, this note. It's not 5 things. It's one thing. As gooey as you can make it. Try it. Okay, you're better gooey on the way up than you are on the way down. On the way down, body's like, cool, we made it. We're going down and we can just let go. And then we get, and it looks like this. So bring your awareness to what's happening underneath your arms. And let's see, underneath your palms, and let's see if you can identify at what point you go from lean to contract. Let's see if you can see when that is. Yeah, do you notice how every time you change pitch, there's a little extra puff of air?
Okay.
Okay, so going back to what I was saying to Nunzio, your job is not to get the sound out. It's like that syringe, the bottom of the syringe, that's all this, it still wants to kind of do this and push up each time it changes pitch. And we still want it to be going this way. So can you visualize all of this? Yes, pelvic floor muscles continuing to gently move down no matter what direction the pitch is going. Okay, so now you're gonna do it, where are we? Here. Now we're gonna do it on Mamo Moo. Don't change how you're using your body. Mamo Moo. Okay. Better. Relax your shoulders. Relax your shoulders. Yeah, there you go. Good. What did that feel like to you when you did it?
Well, it's easier when I do it right.
Yes. But you guys, that brings up a really good point, which just reinforces what we were talking about yesterday, which is when singing should feel good and easy when your instrument is doing what it was built to do, when you're not interfering. So it's all the stuff that we were talking about yesterday on the mindset side of things that convinces us that we have to get in there and we have to do each thing and we have to make each thing and everything needs to be exactly this and exactly perfect. And what you just experienced was starting to let your body do what it was built to do and giving it some very specific, simple, not always easy, but simple parameters in which to do that. so that you don't end up sabotaging.
Yes.
And when it feels easy, you guys, it's right. If it feels like you're working too hard, if it feels like you're overusing, you are.
Oh yeah, like my shoulder muscles. Remember when they went up?
Yeah.
I could feel the tension from
Yeah.
doing that.
Right. But you guys, the reason why they wanted to do this is because she doesn't quite trust this to do it because it hasn't been fundamentally that trustworthy to do it in the past.
Absolutely.
So like we talked about, other parts of the body start to want to come in. So now we're doing this and you know where that lands you here. Yep. Okay. Any questions about this?
No, now I just have to I'll watch the replay and.
Yeah. No, you'll see it like absolutely in what you do. And it's much better. Good work. See guys, like these things can be literally shifted in literally 5 minutes if you know how to look for it and what you're doing and what the sensation is. All right, I think we got time for one more if you guys don't mind. Okay, Nathaniel, you want to pop in?
Hello, how you doing?
Hello, I am well. All right,
I just have
you. I was just going to say, what are you noticing as you're playing with this with the others?
Well, I like it. And I see the value in it, and I'm going to practice it. But I do have a question.
Yes.
What if you cannot do a lip trill? I cannot do it. I can do it like, it took me a year to learn how to do it like this.
Okay.
I still can't do it.
Okay. So look, you can do a lip trill. You just haven't had the tools that I'm giving you. Okay? And look, it's going to take a minute because, so what I'm noticing just even from you messing around just a second ago, for most of you, well, let me see. How many people in the chat are like, it just doesn't come out. Like, I can't do it. I can't get it to start. Like, lip trills, sorry. Anybody in the chat? Let me see. Because I've absolutely worked with singers who have been in this boat, okay? And 9 times out of 10, it's because most of the singers are doing 2 things. The first thing is trying to focus here and start the lip trill here. This is not what starts the lip trill. This is your gas pedal. This feeling of gentle flex down and starting it before you phony. So again, watch when you see me engage this versus when you hear the lip trill. You will see this fire first. Okay, so if that doesn't fire first, then body's like, well, I got to do it somewhere else. And if you're Marie, you're going to try to do it with your shoulders. I love you, Marie. I know I can joke with you. But, or if you've just never been present to that before and you think that the lip trill is something that you create with your lips, then you're going to be focusing all of your attention here and you're not going to be putting your attention down on where the gas pedal really is. So you guys, the lip trill is not created with the lips. The vibration of the lips is a byproduct of what's happening down in the support. So you want to give it a try, Nathaniel? Okay, go ahead, stand up.
Nah.
Yeah.
Not now. Thank you.
No, fair enough. But as you're practicing it on your own, okay, like I want you to do 2 things. First, can you do this for me? Yeah, like with as just kind of as pouty and as dumb lips. Pouty and dumb. Yes, you feel how right. You feel how like just soft and released that is. It's just okay because we don't want you to. That's me trying to start a lip trill by doing this. Okay, so number 1, just soft and easy lips. Okay, and then what creates? So that's the first thing, and then the second thing is when you have that softness. This is where I want you to put your attention. So I want you to imagine a bunch of tiny little lip trills floating around in the basin of, the basin of your pelvis. And your job is to engage this and tap one of them so that it can come out. And again, it's the consistency that matters. Don't whack it, because if you whack it, you're going to push too much You're gonna push too much air out. Okay, so that's something you can play with. Okay, so pouty helps. It does, because some people just in their physiology, it can be much more helpful to be really pouty.
Like that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, like almost like you're like like almost like you're like a 2-year-old who's like pouty. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, you're starting to get it. Okay, but okay, hold on, time out. You're starting to get it. Okay, no, this is good because you're being soft here and you're being pouty. Now, I gave you guys the but not because that's how you start the lip trill, but because that's how you loosen this up. Okay. So I don't want you to start the lip trill by going because again, the lip trill doesn't start here. The lip trill starts here. So you can use the to loosen up and just be dumb and soft. And then put your attention on your pelvic floor, on your obliques, and lip trill out between your legs. Like the sound is going out between your legs. So pout and then out between your legs. Yes, you're getting the start. Okay, good. No, you're getting the start. You guys see, he's getting the start, right? Now, the reason why it stops and it doesn't continue into the is because you give a little flex and then you just let it go. You have to continue to flex through. You see how you can see my muscles continuing to engage? You do this. It's like a burst and that's it. You got to continue flowing through that, okay? Practice this and let me know how it goes in the Facebook group, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Well done, guys. Well done. I know we're like super over time, but if you have any questions, you can let me know in the Facebook group. Happy to answer them. Ashley put the link just now into the chat for the homework. So what tonight's homework is MP3s for you to practice the lip trills and the mamo moves. And so what you're going to get in the MP3s is you're going to get like a guide vocal, and you're going to get so you can practice with it, and then you're going to get the mamo moves that you can practice with too. Okay, so those are the MP3s. But really get this, okay? It's not like that you practice doesn't matter. It's how you practice that matters. Practice the how, not the what. So don't just download the MP3s and then blaze through lip trills, okay? Like be really present and really intentional to exactly what we were just talking about. That's the how, okay? Practice the how, not the what. Don't listen to yourself, feel yourself. You'll notice how with every single person who just got up, and thank you to all our very brave guinea pigs, not a single one did I ask, how did that sound to you? Not a single one. What did I ask? Every single one? What did that feel like to you? Okay? Because your job is not creating the sound of the good sound. Your job is recreating the feeling of the good sound so that you know every single time, oh, that's what support feels like. I know how to do that. And then it doesn't matter if the monitors are bad, if you can't hear yourself, if whatever's going on, in the hall, if it's not a great like resonance in the hall, it doesn't matter because you know what the feeling of the good sound is, okay? So as you're doing this, don't listen to yourself, feel yourself. If you feel tension, strain, if you feel like you're overworking, you probably are. Listen to your body. That's why we're doing the meditation. Continue doing the meditation each day to continue conditioning your present moment awareness. Tomorrow, we're going to build on this, okay? So yesterday, you got all these about mindset. Hopefully, you did your thought exercise and you got more in touch with the link between mind and body. How do I feel? What are the emotions that come up when I'm singing well? How does that affect what happens in my body? Where do I feel that? Like you're getting in touch with all of these things. But right now we're going to build on this. You have breath support, but you only have half the equation. It's like you've got your anchor, but you need your sail. So tomorrow, I'm going to give you the other half of the equation. I'm going to teach you all about the shape of resonance, the space of resonance, and opposition. So this is the rocket fuel for consistency. It's the ammunition that taps you into the maximum stability and potential of your sound. So you've got a great foundation now with tools for your mindset that you can continue to condition. You've got great foundation for rock solid support. I encourage you to go back and re-watch the training and really solidify that for yourself, but it's not enough because we're talking about going from good to great here. We're talking about being bulletproof. So you need the rest. So don't miss tomorrow. Celebrating you all for being here. Go post your distinctions in the Facebook group. What that means is your ahas, the things that made sense to you, the things that you don't want to forget. It's been proven that for the fastest results when it comes to learning, especially where your body is concerned and conditioning new muscle memories in your body, the fastest way is if you can regurgitate and reiterate back what you learned. But not only that, you're going to reinforce for your fellows in the group. So go post your distinctions, read other people's distinctions, celebrate your ahas, celebrate other people's distinctions and ahas, because this community is really important, guys. A rising tide lifts every single boat that's riding on it, okay? So don't miss tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Ash, will you put the homework in the chat one last time? You guys copy and paste it. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye, everybody.